The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
The re-export of cars imported from the US to Russia and Belarus was prohibited from the territory of Georgia from August the 1st as per the sanctions imposed by the US and the European Union, the Revenue Service reported on Wednesday. On top of that, the re-export of cars imported from the European Union to Russia and Belarus will be banned from September 26 as provided for by the 11th package of imposed sanctions against Russia, the Revenue Service added. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili met with Alihan Ismailov, Prime Minister of Kazakhstan, on Tuesday. At the working meeting, Ismailov emphasized that Kazakhstan and Georgia enjoy close and long-standing friendly ties and multifaceted cooperation. Kazakh Prime Minister asserted that the government of Kazakhstan is determined to continue multifaceted work to ensure the dynamic development of Kazakh-Georgia partnership in all areas. Earlier, accompanied by his delegation, Garibashvili visited Huawei's executive briefing center in Beijing during his visit to China. The head of government of Georgia met Liang Hua, chairman of the board of Huawei, according to the administration of the government of Georgia. The prime minister toured the company's exhibition hall, which displays cutting-edge digital technologies such as 5G, AI, and cloud, and tried out real-world applications of new technologies. During their meeting, Garibashvili and Liang discussed how Georgia and Huawei can work together in ICT, industrial digital transformation, network coverage in remote areas, green energy, talent cultivation, and more. 3 Georgian companies are listed on the London Stock Exchange: TBC Bank, Georgia Capital, and Bank of Georgia. Their share price changes over the past week were as follows. The price of Bank of Georgia BGO shares increased by 1.1%, and currently the value of one share is £32. The company's market capitalization currently stands at around $1.5 billion. In the last 6 months, the shares of Bank of Georgia have increased by 23%. Shares of TBC PLC are down by 0.8% over the week. One share of the bank is worth around £25. The company's market capitalization currently stands at $1.4 billion. In the last 6 months, the price of TBC shares has increased by 12%. The value of the shares of Georgia Capital CGO increased by 3%. As a result, the price of one share became around £10. As a result, the company's market capitalization is currently £431 million. The price of the company shares has increased by 25% in the last 6 months. This is The Checkpoints. I'm Elena Gvanjilashvili, author and the host of the show, and the Checkpoints team is ready to sum up the business and economics week for you in the last program of the season. The estimated real gross domestic product growth rate of Georgia amounted 7.7% for June 2023 year over year, and the average real GDP growth for January-June 2023 equaled 7.6%, Geostat, the National Statistics Office of Georgia, says. In June 2023, compared to the same period of the previous year, the estimated real growth in following activities contributed significantly: construction, trade, financial and insurance activities. Declines were registered in transportation and storage and electricity, gas, steam, and air conditioning supply activities. What was new in the economy this week? The Checkpoints has pulled together its weekly news and outlook, especially for you.
In July 2023, the consumer price index decreased by 0.04% compared to the previous month, while the annual inflation rate amounted to 0.3%. With regard to the annual core inflation, the price increased by 3.2%, while the annual core inflation without tobacco amounted to 3.1%, the National Statistics Office of Georgia reported. The monthly inflation rate was mainly influenced by price change in the different groups. The price increased for the following group: furniture and furnishing, carpets and other floor coverings 4.9%, tools and equipment for house and garden 1.3%, prices increased for fruit and grapes by 3.9%. Transport, the price for the group increased by 1.8%, contributing 0.22 percentage points to the overall index. The price decreased for the following groups: furnishings, household equipment and maintenance by 2.3%, groups and service for routine household maintenance 4.5%, household textile 1.9%, glassware, tableware and household utensils 1.0%, clothing and footwear, the price decreased by 2%, food and non-alcohol beverages, the price for the group decreased by 0.2%, contributing 0.09 percentage points to the overall monthly inflation rate. The price mainly decreased for the following subgroups: oils and fats 2.8%, fish 1.8%, milk, cheese and eggs 1%. Business Association of Georgia hailed the decision of the National Bank of Georgia to reduce the refinancing rate, describing the move as timely that will contribute to the cost savings in the business. The gradual reduction of interest rates is important for business because on the one hand it saves costs, on the other hand it allows for more optimism, creates positive expectations and signals to business to attract additional investment capital, the BAG said. The BAG also welcomed the midterm prognosis focus on the likeliness of reducing the refinancing rate to 9.5% at the end of the year. This will promote business activities, create more jobs, additional crediting that will contribute to the economic growth in the country, it said. On August 2, 2023, the Monetary Policy Committee of the National Bank of Georgia decided to decrease the monetary policy rate by 0.25%. The monetary policy rate now stands at 10.25%. Natia Turneva, the acting governor of the National Bank of Georgia, on Wednesday said the domestic economic growth this year would exceed the planned 6%. The former economy minister named investments and foreign trade as key drivers of growth, adding the authorities had upgraded their forecast from 5 to 6% for this year. However, we expect the economic growth may exceed the planned figure, Turneva said, adding it is very positive for the domestic economy and indicated the development of a number of sectors. She noted the 6% and higher growth in the domestic economy would mean more income for citizens and maintenance of high rate of employment. However, Turneva called for caution by responsible agencies and financial institutions to prevent hikes in prices due to the high consumer demand. She claimed prices for imported goods had seriously decreased over the past several months and added the government expected a lower than forecast rate of inflation until the end of this year. In the direction of protection of consumer rights, from November 2022 to July 2023, National Competition Agency has received 317 applications and a case study has been started on 190 applications. For 9 months, the Competition Agency signed 56 commitment agreements in favor of the consumer on 93 cases. This means the traders have made an obligation to change its internal policy and to restore the rights of those consumers who allegedly suffered damages due to the traders' policy in the past. According to the agency's decision, 18 facts of violations of the rights of consumer group were confirmed in 32 cases, and in 4 cases were not confirmed due to non-fulfillment of the obligation imposed by the agency. Street traders were fined in 12 cases. 65% of the applications received by the consumer referred to the fact of online trading and 35% to the case of purchasing the item on the spot. According to the regions, Tbilisi continues to lead with 85%, followed by Ejara with 6% and Emirati with 5%. In the reporting period, according to the received applications, 75% in the wholesale and retail sector, 80% transport and warehousing, arts, entertainment and leisure, 4% and 13% other activities. Georgian government is ready to cooperate with partners, but it will never take a step that would harm the country, said Tbilisi Mayor Kakakaladze. Tbilisi Mayor remarked on the recent decision on the re-export of cars, which in Kaladze's words is the best example of the government's cooperation with partners also serving the interests of the country and the Georgian people. Emotions should not drive political decisions. This requires analysis and drawing correct conclusions. If we look at the past, we will see how many mistakes we have made by taking the wrong steps that pushed the country backwards for decades, he said. The re-export of cars imported from the US to Russia and Belarus was prohibited from the territory of Georgia from August 1, as per the sanctions imposed by the US and the European Union, the Revenue Service reported on August 2. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili on Thursday expressed his belief the government would succeed in achieving a peaceful deoccupation of its Russian-occupied territories and reunification as a result of correct, pragmatic and results-oriented policies. In his speech at an event dedicated to the 8th anniversary of the establishment of the State Security Service, Garibashvili said the body had carried out very important reforms and proved to be an independent and effective system that protects the safety of our systems and strengthens our state. Garibashvili stressed the country and the wider region today we are facing a big challenge on the backdrop of the ongoing Russian aggression in Ukraine, adding in such situations the role of the government and the State Security Service is to maintain peace and stability. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili on Friday left for the area in western Georgia, Showy resort hit by a landslide on Thursday, the government administration said. About 400 firefighters and rescuers of the Emergency Management Service, police units and representatives of all relevant agencies are being involved in the rescue efforts, the body added. Irakli Karseladze, the Minister of Regional Development and Infrastructure, on Friday said the rescuers were currently searching for about 25 missing people after 210 were evacuated. The Georgian Ministry of Interior Affairs has so far confirmed 7 deaths in the disaster.
The Georgian government will fully finance treatment of children with oncological diseases in medical institutions of Israel, Spain and Turkey in the wake of signing a deal on cooperation with partner clinics, the health ministry announced. Katerina Pestmenidze, the acting executive director of the Solidarity Fund established in 2014 on the initiative of Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili to encourage donations for covering treatment for children with cancer and other priority social needs, held a presentation on the program and discussed opportunities for recipients, noting one of the fund's beneficiaries was preparing to visit the Turkish facility involved in the deal for treatment. In his comments, Minister Zurab Azarashvili said the state had laid the foundation for a historic project to provide quality health care and equal access to high-quality medical services within and outside the country for all children patients. He also said the state has taken full responsibility and pledged to treat all children with oncological diagnoses in the best clinics around the world as part of the $12 million USD program with no budget limitations. Azarashvili noted the government had also taken novel steps to ensure vital health services for children with oncology diagnosis domestically at the end of last year on the initiative of Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili. He said providing access to quality medical services for children was clearly reflected in the government policy and long-term strategy, and indicated a full range of high-quality medical services would be made available in the country in the shortest amount of time. The checkpoints hosted Professor Ronit El Sahid, the director of Pediatric Hemato-Oncology Department and Ihilov Medical Center in Israel, and Hadash Esther Meitzad, the Israeli ambassador in Georgia. Here is the full interview. Thank you for being with us and taking our questions. Dr. El-Hasid, this is your second visit to Tbilisi. As I remember, you were also in January this year. That's when the first talks started about this program. So what has changed since January?
No snow.
No snow, that's important.
What was changing was that we have an agreement now. And
exactly.
we're very happy with this agreement. It's a collaboration between Georgia and Israel for the benefit of young children with cancer. So my specialty is treating children with cancer. I'm doing it for many, many years. And it is my pleasure and privilege to help other children in another country with cancer.
Yes. So, what do you anticipate from this cooperation with Georgia, and what was your company's, your hospital's motivation to be involved in this program?
There was a call from the minister for help for children with cancer, and we answered this call because we have all the experience and the techniques to treat children with malignancy. We've done it for many years in Israel, and it is and our motivation is to treat other patients with cancer, especially now that we have the agreement in Georgia.
Yeah. So what are some of the opportunities that this agreement will open up for Georgia's kids?
You know, these days you can cure more than 80% of children with cancer. In leukemia, blood cancer, you can cure even 90% of children. And this will bring the children of Georgia this hopeful salvage from their disease. You know, for treating children with cancer, you have to know how to do it. You have to know how to diagnose it, and then you have to know how to treat it and to bring this success without toxicity. And we have the ability to do it, and a lot of motivation to help other children in Georgia.
Ms. Meitzad, so there are three countries at this point involved in this program. It is Turkey, it is Spain, and Israel. Why Israel? What makes this country competitive in this sphere?
Why Israel? Well, as ambassador of Israel, I will say that what makes us competitive is Israel has the top of the art, very advanced medical facilities. Ihilov is one of them. Mm-hmm. And as Professor Hasid said, I mean, there was a call from the Georgian Minister of Health. And I have to say here that we're very grateful and appreciative of the work that was done by the Ministry of Health, by the Solidarity Fund here in Georgia. The quick pace in which this project has been, I mean, it has been several months, and here earlier today we signed the agreement. Israel truly believes that what we have, what we know, we must share it with the rest of the world. We are doing it through our foreign aid. We are doing it in corporations such as this. But at the end of the day, if we have the knowledge, if we have the solution, if we have the ability to help, we will always reach out and help as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. What would be the measurable outcomes that you will also be monitoring during this program, and what kind of expectations could there be with this program?
First, we will treat the children that need treatment, And by the time the Georgian health ministry and all the team will build a center for cancer for children, and by the time it is done, they could continue the therapy in Georgia. But for the meantime, until it will happen, we will treat the children from Georgia in our country, in Israel.
Yes, you mentioned that most of cancer can be cured this time, and especially some types, like more easily than others. What is needed for that, and what is focus on R&D, for example, in your medical facility as well, and how that helps drive the innovation in this sphere and drive the results?
You need to have infrastructures. I mean, you need to know how to do the right diagnosis. This is the first thing, okay? Once you do the right diagnosis, you need to treat according to international protocols with a lot of experience in this specific malignancy. Then you need to have a multidisciplinary team to help avoid toxicity and help avoid late effects. So we in Israel have all this in our center. We have the best facilities for diagnosis, radiology, surgery, genetic analysis, everything. And we use international European protocols for treating Israeli children, and this will be the same for Georgian children. And we have special facilities to avoid all this toxicity and to treat it when it comes, and to make all that we can for the child to be healthy and come and go back to his country.
Yes. In general, is this treatment expensive? Because it involves so much expertise, so much infrastructure, so much innovation that you have just mentioned.
Well, this issue is between the clinic and the ministry. I'm giving the service of medicine, but other things should be.
What could Georgia learn with this cooperation with Israel also? Because
learn how to do the diagnosis. Learn in which protocol to use to treat each disease, and learn how to be a very qualified and good center for children with malignancy.
Thank you so much.
If I may add to this.
Of course.
I think that we already have a very strong partnership between Israel and Georgia in many aspects, including in health. I mean, even before this agreement came to realize, there is a lot of cooperation in the field of health that is based on a personal relation. 2 months ago, I attended a conference that was arranged by TSU Medical School, that it was to honor an Israeli doctor who has been working here for 2 years, came and trained a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, and there were top neurosurgeons from Israel who came for the weekend in Tbilisi for this conference. We are going to have another conference in 2 months again, Israeli conference that will take place here in Georgia with Georgian doctors. So we have all this like personal based cooperation, and now we have also this institutionalized cooperation. And I think that in the long term, when the minister or the prime minister are talking about establishing here the first public hospital that will be for the treatment of children with cancer and an ecological pediatric center, I think that we in Israel will be privileged and honored to assist, to follow, to train, to do whatever it takes. And of course, it depends on the TOR and on the project itself. But it is for us truly, I mean, I think that this responsibility is also comes with a lot of honor to be trusted to take care of the children and to assist Georgia in this project to build domestic capacities in order to be able to treat the children in the future in Georgia and not to send them outside.
Ms. Meitzad, you mentioned just one sector of the economy, such as health and the cooperation. I cannot let you go without asking some of the economic questions as well, since we are business media. So what are some of the results of this long-standing economic cooperation between our countries, and what perspectives do you see, and what challenges maybe in
the most
this?
the most easy to, I mean, the biggest achievement, I'm sorry, it's not the right term, but one of the significant agreements that you reached when Minister Darachashvili was in Israel early May. He and the Minister of Economy, Nir Barkat, in Israel announced on the beginning of negotiation on free trade agreement between Israel and Georgia in 2024. And this, I think, is a very positive signal for the future. Second, I see growing interest from the IT sector in Israel toward the IT sector in Georgia. The growing industry here, which is, I mean, still relatively small, but it also makes sense. And I have here quite a lot of Israelis, representative of Israeli companies from the field of IT that are coming to understand what is happening here, to see who will be the right partner, whether it will be private sector, maybe academic, maybe something with the government. There is an interest about what is happening here and the ecosystem that is building here. And quite recently, there was also a visit by the head of JITA and the Deputy Minister of Economy to Israel that was focused very much on this, on cooperation in the field of IT. And we are now working on the follow-up and with hope to see more. And then there is always interest in the field of agriculture. Some interesting projects are being discussed. It's too early for me to go into the details. Of course, you understand it. Also in the field of hospitality, we are seeing raising interest. And generally speaking, I think the whole conversation about the middle corridor, about the connectivity, whether it's transportation, whether it's IT, digital, energy, that this is creating more and more interest also from Israeli companies and the business sector. So, you know, we are here to assist and to see how we can make it, how we can realize it.
I remember that in May this year, the feasibility study on the FTA between Georgia and Israel has been completed. Where does this study
The feasibility
go?
studies, it was completed, I think, even before May, but maybe I'm. But at the end, I mean, it goes to the declaration that in 2024. Teams from both ministries will start the negotiation on FTA. Now, we all know that negotiation on FTA is something that takes a long time, but we also know that in the business of investment and the business sector, signaling is signals, positive signals are extremely important. And I think that here, the decision by Israel and Georgia to say, we are now translating our good relations also into the business sphere by starting to move forward towards a free trade agreement. I think it's a very positive sign about the future that both countries are wishing to build together.
Madam Ambassador, what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you get from Israeli investors, and especially like new investors who are just eyeing Georgia for,
I will say that I think it's the
investing?
usual question. I mean, people are, you know, the investor usually curious about the level of stability, how welcoming is the environment to do new business. I mean, I think that all investors pretty much come with the same list of questions when they are coming to a new country. And, you know, we are sharing with them. We are also sometimes taking them to the different representatives from the IFIs, whether it's the World Bank or the other, the economic organizations that are the financial organs that are working here, in order for them to, in each and every sector, to receive the best analysis, of course, also with the Ministry of Economy here of Georgia.
Of course. And also, are they like looking closely how Georgia is doing on its path to the European Union and all this candidate status and 12 priorities that we have? Are those 12 priorities among
I cannot say that from the Israeli interest, from the Israeli investment point of view, I don't think that this is the main focus. I think that there is a difference between maybe European investors and Israelis.
So what can we do, and what can the country do so that not only Israeli investors come to Georgia, but also Georgian investors come to Israel and grow their businesses there?
I think that at the end of the day, I mean, I will be very humble. I will say there is a limit to what the government not only can do, but also should do. I think that when it's come to the private sector, to investment,
Good
at the end of the day, it has to be, it has to be profitable, it has to be worthwhile, and us as government need to make sure that, that we are removing as many barriers as we can, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to see that it's profitable and worth for them.
Are you satisfied with trade numbers?
No, we don't have high trade numbers, but we will continue to work on it. No, I think that the mutual trade, but I will also say that I think that the trade numbers are not telling the whole story, because they are not taking in the amount of money that is coming from tourism. We all know that Israel is one of the top, that Israelis are pretty much opening the list of non-neighboring countries incoming tourism to Georgia, and this is not really being translated into the numbers. I think that there are other forms of investment that are not necessarily being reflected in the traditional number of mutual trade, and therefore I think that, but still, our job is never to be happy and satisfied, to continue aspire and work for more.
Thank you so much for these very interesting answers, and thank you for participating in this program and helping Georgian kids. Thank you.
Our privilege.
Thank you very much, Elena.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What was new in business this week? On to our reporter Natia Taktakishvili.
Porsche Center Tbilisi presented the latest model of the third generation Porsche Cayenne with the support of insurance company Aldagis premium brand Primo. Primo is the first personal insurance service in Georgia within the framework of which the owner of the insured vehicle has the personal manager at Aldagi and enjoys exclusive conditions for insurance, including service at authorized service centers for 5 years, as well as concierge service. Porsche Center Tbilisi events are always interesting and important for us. Today we are represented by Aldagis premium brand Primo, which is a personal insurance service and is new to the industry. With the Primo service, we try to adapt even more to the needs of customers, which includes a number of special offers and different conditions. Among them are a personal manager, concierge service, and others. Ketevan Goliashvili, head of Aldagis PR department, said. Sales of the latest model of the third generation Porsche Cayenne began internationally on the same day. With the updated model, Porsche has taken its premium cars to a higher level. The founder and director of Landslide Spa Resort, Andro Tishkariani, says that the hotel is fully booked in July-August. According to him, the biggest part of the workload is family tourism. Family tourism is the biggest part of our busy schedule, but we break this stereotype and position ourselves in 3 different directions. It's possible to get medical procedures as well as relaxation procedures and just a family vacation. Most of our vacationers are residents of Georgia, including tourists from Kazakhstan, says Andrei Dishkariani. The founder and director of Hotel Landslide Spa Resort calls on the Resorts Development Agency and the National Tourist Administration to start direct marketing campaigns of balneological resorts in the target markets. Jaba Mujiri first started producing sparkling wine in the village of Garikula Kaspi district, then added various wines and currently produces 6 types of wine. Saba Mujiri sells wine in the local market, although he believes that his products have export potential. From now, the winemaker continues small production, and for example, last year they produced 2,000 bottles of wine. Chapidon Winery soon plans to add a restaurant space with an investment of $150,000 USD. We started receiving tourists this year. The demand is great and we are surprised. Both foreigners and Georgian visits us in an equal number. Since we already have so many guests this year, we expect greater interest from the next year, says Jaba Mujiri in a conversation with BMW. Chapidon Winery is a family business and employs 4 locals due to the high demand on their products. Subway branch was opened at Kutaisi International Airport. This is the first object of restaurant in Emirati region. As the representative of Subway Georgia, Givi Ordenidze told BMW, the company invested €150,000 for opening a new restaurant. According to him, the branch employed an additional 16 people, most of them are locals. The representative of Subway Georgia also talks about the company's development plans, and as he notes, 2 more new facilities will be opened in the near future, but he does not talk about other details yet. We are gradually considering opening branches in airports. We are planning to open 2 more restaurants in the near future, he said. Subway Georgia includes 8 branches in Georgia, 5 of which are located in Tbilisi, 2 in Batumi and 1 in Kutaisi Airport. From July 32, self-service spots equipped with a completely new concept became available to Batumi residents and the city guests. Interested persons have the opportunity to visit new spaces for self-services in 2 places on Batumi coast, Metropoli Beach and Conte Beach. Customers can find self-service terminals through which they can receive different types of self-services, gifts through which they can take unforgettable photos for free and instantly share them on the social media. Customers can also change their mobile phones with selfie mobile charging sources. Tatia Bichashvili, the founder of tourist facility Sadmeli Winery, told TV program Business Morning that the tourist activity in the region is especially increasing in August. According to her, tourists are mainly for Ukraine, Poland, Belarus, Czech Republic and other European countries. But as she notes, the share of tourists from Western Europe was much higher before the pandemic. According to the founder of the tourist facility, vacationers spend only 1 or 2 days in Racha, which is explained by the lack of large hotel complexes in the region. This also determines that the region is visited by tourists from the low and middle segment. When a tourist comes to us and spends 1 night, he gets acquainted with local dishes and natural wine. Then he becomes interested in what else he can have fun with. This is what is lacking in the region. The facilities are designed for the low and middle segment, and we don't have that type of luxury as, for example, in Kakheti, says Bichashvili. As for Sadmeli Winery, according to the Bichashvili, the facility is primarily a wine factory where they produce natural quarry wine and offer traditional cuisine to the guests. As for the hotel, we have a family-type vacation home, which includes 4 rooms. However, the demand for food and wine tasting is quite high from both foreign and Georgian tourists. Yacht dealer company Ramses Yachts has sold a total of 16 yachts and cutters in Georgia since 2020, as the director of the company, Georgi Chikwaidze, said in an interview with BMW. This number of yachts was sold only to Georgian citizens. In addition, Chikwaidze also talks about infrastructural problems. There are many infrastructural problems in Georgia. We don't have a well-arranged yacht club in the country. Like in Europe, there is so much demand for yachts that we are currently unable to meet these conditions. Today, there are 2 hindering factors in this business: infrastructure and lack of staff. We are forced to bring personnel from Turkey and Greece, says Chikwaidze. In 2017, Ramses Yachts brought the Italian yacht manufacturing company Azimut Yachts to the country.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the National Bank of Georgia decided to decrease the monetary policy rate, the refinancing rate, by 0.25%. The monetary policy rate now stands at 10.25%. In June, annual inflation decreased to 0.6%. External factors too have helped inflation decline. In particular, since the previous year, the prices of raw food commodities and oil on the international markets have been following a downward trend. In addition, international shipping costs have dropped to their pre-pandemic levels. According to NBG, these tendencies, alongside with the appreciation of lari, reduced the prices of imported goods in Georgia. The tight monetary policy and low inflation expectations helped to further curtail inflation. As a result, domestic inflation has also been declining, albeit at a relatively slower speed, and in June it equaled 8.5%. It is expected to decrease even further during the year. According to the current forecast of NBG, other things being equal, inflation will be below the 3% target level in the coming months and stabilize around it in the medium term. After a prolonged period of high inflation, inflation below the target level will help further normalization of long-term inflation expectations, which in turn is a prerequisite for price stability. Despite the favorable dynamics, inflation risks remain high. The current tense geopolitical situation increases causes the uncertainty on the commodities markets. Along with the external risks, domestic economic developments remain noteworthy in terms of inflationary pressure. In particular, the economic growth is still high this year, and the NBG has revised the growth forecast up to 6% for 2023. If due to strong aggregate demand, the economic growth turns out to be even higher, additional pressure on inflation will arise. In addition, current trends in the labor market must still be considered. According to NBG, at this stage, wage growth significantly exceeds productivity growth. If sustained for a long time, such a trend will increase production costs and eventually affect the prices as well. Considering this risk, the NBG continues a gradual exit from its tight monetary policy stance, and after leaving it unchanged at the previous session, it has reduced the monetary policy by 25 basis points at the current meeting. Taking into account inflation trends and forecasts, other things being equal, the NBG will continue to normalize the policy rate only at a moderate pace. The NBG continuously monitors the developments in the economy and financial markets and will use all available tools to ensure price stability. Military contracting is one of the largest and most fascinating but operationally challenging businesses. Recently, military contracting has seen a rise in the number of drones used as this technology could transform the nature of war. These unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, have created various opportunities in numerous industries, from delivery and surveillance to photography and filmmaking. Drones are redefining how people do things. As they say at Misia, the Georgian drone-making company, every groundbreaking leap that changes the world starts with a great vision and an unshakable belief in turning that vision into a reality. Today, we will tell you Misia's story.
Every groundbreaking leap that changes the world starts with a great vision and unshakable belief in turning that vision into a reality. It is the belief that the people behind Misia hold dear to their hearts. Misia is a Georgian aerospace company designing and manufacturing unmanned aerial vehicles and drones. Today, Misia's products are redefining industries. Professionals in various government sectors, agriculture, conservation, search and rescue, and energy infrastructure put their trust in Misia to bring new perspectives to their work and help them accomplish feats safer, faster, with greater efficiency, and simpler than ever.
Drone is a smart, unmanned aerial vehicle with a particular mission to fulfill any task given to it. We are in a mission to make unmanned aerial vehicles accessible to everyone. For this, our drones have been adapted to routine, everyday tasks.
Misia's research and development team works around the clock to keep innovating, trying and testing new products to challenge the status quo. As the engineers say, having an advanced and capable product line requires years' worth of complex engineering, testing and trial, yet in the end, it all pays off. This is M22Q1, codenamed Mimino, Georgian for Eurasian Sparrowhawk. As they say at Misia, this drone can do anything that one would want from an industrial unmanned aerial vehicle. It resembles the company's vision too. M22Q1 is easy to operate and is highly customizable, making it ideal for firefighting, search and rescue, recreational and corporate operations.
Our drones are equipped with thermographic cameras, allowing us to perform rescue operations in various landscapes, day or night.
M22Q1 is a reliable and durable drone that could be used in the mountains, at sea, over the road or any industrial area, and of course, in the forest. The drone's versatility, of course, is enabled by technology. As they say at Misia, the safety of the drone is ensured by 360-degree LiDAR and height sensor, ensuring real-time information about the drone's condition and obstacles around it. There is no drone like it in the world, they say.
What makes it different is the flight time, maximum payload capacity and versatility. No other drone is as versatile as ours.
Our drone is equipped with a video tracking system, a cargo delivery system and a loudspeaker, but honestly the only limit to this is our imagination.
Headquartered in Tbilisi, Georgia, Misia benefits from direct access to the international suppliers and young, creative talent pool necessary for sustained success. These people are pushing the boundaries of what is possible not only in Georgia, but beyond.
There was a public procurement tender in the United Kingdom that we wanted to participate in. It was the spark that enabled us to create the initial concept. We thought about what these drones should have been capable of. We are ambitious enough to participate in public procurement tenders, as our drones could easily compete with others.
Another advantage that Misia's unmanned aerial vehicles offer to their customers is M-ground control, an in-house software programmed to be as easy to operate as possible. Yet with the software comes constant customer support that Misia's clients receive whenever it's needed.
Another advantage that Misia offers is customer support and drone repair service that our engineers engage in.
We are responsible for our drones, and if there is anything we have to repair that is due to our fault, we will take care of it. It is not limited to technical support, but includes personal training too.
As for the future, Misia aims to expand in the Georgian market and launch serial production. Thus, quite soon, Georgia could transform into a regional drone manufacturing hub. With the investor backing up the idea, Misia's first factory may not be far ahead. As they say at Misia, this will enable the company to produce more drones and allow many Georgian engineers to fulfill their goals in Georgia and not elsewhere.
The global market for drones is valued at around $20 billion, and it is projected to grow by 13% by 2030. It is a humongous industry that Georgia must partake in.
Will there be demand, we would build a factory. This is what we agreed upon with our investor. The only thing we need is tangible demand.
As technology advances, the possibilities for drone use will continue to expand, serving various interests of hobbyists and commercial users.
Our drones are not limited to discovery. We can talk through it and deliver and recover the cargo. We are not sole observers, but active participants.
This is a hybrid unmanned aerial vehicle that Misia's engineers are developing and testing. In a few weeks, it will fly from Batumi to Tbilisi at 85 km per hour. It has 5 engines, 4 of which are vertical thrust engines, allowing the drone to take off vertically without a runway.
It's a prototype that allows us to test particular technologies. The most important is 4G, technology allowing us to transmit video and, in case of emergency, allowing us to take control of the vehicle in real time. Wherever the network is stable, the drone will communicate with us and transmit real-time video.
In recent years, drones have emerged as a breakthrough technology. These unmanned aerial vehicles have created various opportunities in numerous industries, from delivery and surveillance to photography and filmmaking. Drones are redefining how people do things. Their compact sizes and autonomous flight capabilities offer novel viewpoints, allowing data collection in challenging environments. The possibilities for drone use will continue to expand, creating a unique opportunity. It is this opportunity that Misia is taking upon, a chance worth billions. Yet it is not the money that motivates Misia. The love of flying in the skies was where it all began. It was a hobby, they say. A hobby turned into a business.
Such was the last program of the season. The Checkpoints will return in September with more news and updates on business and economics. Before that, the whole vacation, you can check us out on bm.g. Have a great summer.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.